Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name is Ryan, and I pick things up at yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and the like, and try to make a few bucks on them on eBay. So, actually went to a library book sale yesterday and picked up a few things. Had some good sales yesterday. Actually, some stuff I wasn't aware. Like, I thought I made a mistake, and then something sold. So, we'll go over that. A lot of book bundles, old stuff, and Transformers. So, we will jump onto that, and doing what it seems I've gotten to be good at, book bundles. So, we'll go over that sort of thing, too, as well. Facebook Marketplace and eBay sales today. So, let's go over some of the Facebook Marketplace stuff first. First up, 3 books, 15 bucks. Sold them to a collector on the Facebook Marketplace group, like a vintage children's book group or something of that sort. I think I paid 10 cents a piece for these, at most 50 cents. But I think that these are out of the batch from a deal I had with about a year ago now, I guess, where I picked up a whole bunch of books from an Amazon seller who wasn't doing a lot of eBay stuff, and so they were scanning stuff. Can't scan a book if it don't have a barcode real well. I think that's going to change over time, but I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, at least in the near term. So 15 bucks for those. Next up is stuff over there. These over there. Book bundles. This big batch. American Girl books. $47 shipped. There's like 14 books here. 50 cents a piece. Grabbing them. This is one of those that usually I snag these in batches, and that was mostly true of these. It was one of those situations like when you go to a thrift store and you get a small stack, and then you go back 2 days later and there's more put out, and then there's more put out. That's kind of what happened here. So over a span of about 2 weeks, I got this stack all up. Sold them somebody 47 bucks shipped. So that's a good deal there. Is that my only 2 Facebook Marketplace ones right now? I think it is. I think I got everything else I sold for the last couple of days. So that's that. eBay. It says in the bundle, this sold late last night, early this morning. Hymnals. One of my bread and butters is snagging old hymnals. I grab every Baptist hymnal I could find for $2 or less. This is it looks old, looks a little beat up, and it is. It's clean. There's no church printing on the front of it. The only marking is a church stamp. Everything else, it's a clean book. Good. The great thing about hymnals is they tend to be well put together. So I've hardly ever come across a hymnal with loose pages. They're meant to be handled. They're handled once a week. For 40, 50 years sometimes. So the binding on these tend to be really good. So the most you're going to have is coverware. And it's good. It's kind of a good patina on some of this stuff, on an old hymnal too. So books get patina. It shows it. So I would almost dare say that hymnals are some of the best bound books you can buy. So that's why I think they sell okay, is because they stay together. They're sturdy. So anyway, a good clean hymnal, Baptist hymnals, old stuff. But I'll buy modern Baptist hymnals for $2 or less if they're in good condition. I think my limit now is $1 or less if there's an embossed church printed on the front. Those tend to be lower. I've actually had one come back to me before because somebody didn't want it because the church was on the front. And usually that's the reason on a modern hymnal is because they're actually going to be used in a church, and you don't want somebody else's church, your church, you're doing church. So That's the reason why when you get new Hymnals, you can find them and resell them, but know that the value of the ones that have something printed right there on them are going to be less. So, anyway, good find there. $15. Next up, if I had viewers, I would ask, but I don't have any viewers right now on the live stream. But I've got old books and Transformers, so we'll get old books first. They're easiest to grab. Ugh. Old books. Old books. Sold these as, I think I had decorative in the title. All these are pre-1950 or so. And they're beat up. And that showed in the picture. You know, so I'm not sure why a person bought them, but they spent $36 on that batch. And I actually was intending to go back and lower the price on those. Because I listed several at a time, and I've got 3 or 4 lots of those up right now, and I wanted to drop the price on them a little bit so I could sell better, but they sold before I could drop the price. There you go. So it wound up being about $4 a book shipped, which is pretty good. Those are $1 to $2 a piece, and with media mail shipping, I'm going to make money. So some of those actually may have been a dime a piece. And I think I fished that one out of the trash. So, one was free. So, good little tidy thing there. And I'm glad to see them gone because it's always nice when you sell a big stack of books that have been sitting around a while. Those have been sitting around a while. It's always nice when you sell a big stack of books because it frees up a bunch of room. So, that's always nice. Next up, I posted these yesterday. I actually had them in my video yesterday. These are Transformers Prime, the small, like real affordable figures. And I figured, and this whole lot went for $44. There's about 12 figures in here. And I figured $4 to $5 a piece was a good price. And it went pretty, I think this was an offer this was on the best. I had them up for $49. And it didn't, when you know you got the right price on something, excuse me, when something goes real quick on a best offer that's just a little bit below what you were asking. So, just a bunch of little guys like that. And there's back here of them, and back here. So, you know you hit a good price when it goes quickly for a little bit under what you have it posted. So, Transformers, that whole bag was about $3 or $4. It was at Last Chance Goodwill. I don't know why it wound up over there, but I didn't even root for it. I was like, bag of Transformers, Last Chance, sip of coffee. So, bought that Monday, sold it yesterday, getting out today. So, stuff I listed. Some stuff I found, stuff I listed. Want to go over that right quick because it's a little bit of death pile stuff here. I just kind of went on a little bit of a frenzy yesterday, which is a good thing. So, this bad boy. This is Transformers, Bumblebee, Buzzworthy, Mega One Step. That guy right there. So, posted him for about $20. I've sold one of these before around that range too. So, this is one of those initially I think you wouldn't think would be a really great find, but it is. I've sold I think a Grimlock like this before as well, and this is a real cool one because it just flips open and flips back together. So there you go. Putting that up for about $20. So we'll see how it goes. This is something that my kids played with. I picked it up at a yard sale or Goodwill. Kids played with it for a few years. This is a sturdy car. Didn't break or anything like that. Still in really good shape. So threw it out there. Let's see what happens. Next up that I slotted up is Stephen King books. picked several of these up. Some of these were at the last chance Goodwill, which is fine. Stack full of these. I had a couple laying around, so throw these in a lot. So these going. I think I got these for about three. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 books. I think I got these maybe starting at about 30. And I'll take 15 to 20 on them, I guess, because I need to get them out. But some of them, there's a couple that are worn or whatever. But Stephen King book lots do decently. Stephen King books. Here's what I do with them. The hardcovers on the movies made through about the early 90s, the stuff that Stephen King got famous for. Those books, the first editions, the early edition hardcovers, those go $10 to $15 typically. And I grab those all the time whenever I see them. The later stuff doesn't tend to sell that well, particularly when it's $2 a book at my local Goodwill. The later books don't tend to make a bunch of money. So you want to get the older books, or you want to get them cheap so you can lock them up. I don't get a bunch of Stephen King stuff unless it's really cheap, unless it's an older book. And even then, there's a few that I haven't been able to sell. I think I've got a copy of The Dead Zone up at $10, and it's been sitting for a while. But some of the other stuff does pretty good, and there are some of the paperbacks that do okay. I think I sold The Shining, that is this edition. I think I sold it for $10, $12, but these editions here just don't do as well. I've got a copy of it that I'm still trying to figure out why. I've got 2 copies of it. Still don't know why they haven't sold. It's just kind of because I've sold different editions of that copy of it, and it's kind of weird which ones sell, which ones don't. So, Stephen King books. I would also, if I had a booth, I would probably put these up for $3 a piece, and I bet they'd sell pretty quickly. So. Something to think about when you're doing book bundles. Let's see. What else I have up? That up. I talked about that yesterday. I have a bunch of... Well, I'll do these first. Star Wars books. Star Wars Reader. This is like a little sort of... It reads the thing for you when you pick up the numbers. And a bundle of this. And a box set. Star Wars storybooks. These don't go together, but I have them laying around. This was my kids at one point, and this I picked up at Goodwill or something, or a yard sale. I'm putting them all together, hoping to get $20 for that stash. So we'll see how that goes. I may also bring these out. This will probably go pretty okay at a flea market eventually as well. Next up, put some stuff up in a couple of Facebook military groups. These are a big batch of just military history books. There's guys that love this stuff still. I got a stack of the Civil War books that I put out there. And I'm going to start those, see if I can get those on Facebook. Facebook quickly as well. And those I'm putting up, I think, like $4 or $5 a piece. And I'll take deals. Next up is an aggravating little bit. Halfway Through the Door by Alan Arkin. This is going to go in my heresy box. But this is a weird book because all the other books with this title on it are from some of those the really big booksellers that don't post good pictures, like Thrift Books and some of those guys. They irritate me because they don't post pictures, and I kind of have to sell books, and they don't. But they sell more books than I do, so there you go. The problem with this one is it does have, like, that glue is kind of letting loose a little bit. So I may try to take a little bit of I have to do some studying, maybe to see how that can be re-glued. I may just take a little bit of glue and kind of put it back a little bit, make sure it's not smeared too much. But this is I put this up for $25 and it's cheapest on eBay right now, and it's the one with an actual picture. It's the only one with the actual picture of the book. So sometimes when you're a small seller, you actually have that advantage over some of the bigger guys. I have sold books for more than they have because I've got a picture and it just works out better, and it's just I got something I can actually show the buyer. And typically they put a lot of their books in good to acceptable and don't give a good description. I can put a picture up and describe it better and sell the book for a little bit for more money than they can sometimes, even when they have like this bargain basement $4 or $5 price on a book. So when you can still pull that off against those big sellers. Don't let that discourage you when you're selling books that the big sellers have for $4 or $5. And like, how do they make money? They get discounted shipping more than we do, even more than the top seller status. But when you don't have a picture, you don't have a good description, and you're relying on bulk, you can get past that sometimes when you have an actual product in hand. So there you go there. Finally, this is more of the decorative, I think, than actual content. Great biographies. These are Reader's Digest great biographies. These are more for decorative purposes than I think people actually reading. These don't sell well individually, but in batches it seems they do okay. So I think I got both of these up for $15, and I'll take like 10 or 12 eventually if somebody wants them for that price. These are good clean books. Look great on a shelf. Look great on a table. Setting up for staging for real estate or something like that. That's what people buy them for sometimes. So there's that. And is that it? That is it for today. I gotta get this stuff boxed up and out the door because Christmas is coming. We need that money. So really happy kind of with the way sales went this past 24 hours. And I'll be hitting the thrift store again later this afternoon, and we will see what we can drag out and see what we can get going. So like, comment, subscribe down below, and I will see you later.